Me being here for the first time, I understand that they have put some new rules in place in terms of how we can promote Guyana. But at the same time, we cannot allow that to really prevent us from enhancing the way we promote Guyana.
Hi, Carl Brung here with you. Welcome to my time tunnel and welcome to my YouTube channel. Feel free to like, subscribe, and let's rock and roll. Hi, welcome back to my time tunnel. And what am I going to be looking at? I'm still going to be looking at the International Bird Fair that Guyana attended recently. Now, one of the beautiful things about that was that I caught up with someone who was interesting, who was intelligent, who had composure, and who was really versed in what he was doing, who knew about his work. And it was not easy for 3 rollicking days. I'm saying rollicking in the sense it was really sort of energetic, dynamic, and you had to be on your toes. And flying in from Ghana for 3 days, just 3 days, and you had to be there all the time, it was not easy going. And I'm talking about this gentleman who I had to push. I mean, he was very sort of reluctant to chat with me, but I convinced him that he should. Getting up at 5, 6 in the morning and saying, hey, let's go to camera, let's talk, was not easy, but he did. And I compliment him for that. I'm talking about Mr. Leon Moore. And Leon came from Guyana to attend the International Bird Fair here in Rutland in the UK. And he also was awarded the Tour Guide of the Year for 2013. Very good achievement. And he knew what he was about. But you know what? Check him out and hear what he has to say about himself.
Hi there, I am Leon Moore. I'm a naturalist guide from Georgetown, Guyana. I'm here at the bird fair for the first time in Rutland, in the United Kingdom. I grew up in a small town called Linden, and I did a 3 months tour guide training at IOCRAMA. Throughout the tour guide training, we did different courses on botany, wildlife. Wally Prince was one of the persons who taught the course on wildlife. And we were then placed into a 2 months internship. The first month internship I did at Rockview Lodge in 2008, and then I went across to Baganara Island, and that's where I did the last month internship. So where I got my passion from birding is during my internship working as a trainee guide at Rockview Lodge. There was this guide who used to bring tours to the lodge, and me being a trainee guide, I would be at the back observing what he's doing, and his enthusiasm and his passion lure me into developing my passion. So that's where it all started.
Right. How long did it take you to really get fully involved into it? Was it just you started from trading, you went into it on your own, or you continue working along with others?
Well,
because now you branched out on your own, you've got your own company, that was taking time.
Well, after I would have completed the training, I was employed by Baganara as a tour guide, and that is where I started. I had to start to learn all the birds. The idea behind it was because Guyana is, then becoming more popular for bird watching, and that's one of the areas as a guide I had to master in terms of learning the birds. Obviously, have over 870 something different species of birds, and you know, the whole idea of knowing that Guyana is one of the popular destinations, and you know, many tourists coming to Guyana. It was my interest to be able to learn as much birds as possible. So what I did was I had to learn three birds, and those three birds were tropical mockingbird, Columbia's kite, and pale-breasted thrush. So I had to learn those three birds. It wasn't easy. I had to, when I go out in the field with tourists, with guests, I would, you know, write down all the birds that I see in the field, and then go back in and study them. At the beginning, I, you know, would keep forgetting the names. I have to go back to the guides and ask them, you know, remind me what is the name of this bird, what's the name of this bird. And then once those three birds stopped, I started to retain the birds as I see them. On a day-to-day basis, I would make notes, and you know, from there I would study all the birds. And also, one of the things I did was every time I do an activity, I would then also take the recordings, the bird recordings from a collection of birds of Venezuela, and I would set aside the ones that I've seen. So, take for example, if I learned three birds today, it could be, you know, any bird, tropical mockingbird or Columbia's kite or whatever. I would set aside those recordings in a folder, and I would, you know, try to listen to the sounds, and those are some of the things that helped me to retain the birds in my mind.
As a guide now, what can the visitor expect from you when first of all, a tour or group come down? What are some of the areas? Because I know you're also doing wildlife, you're into wildlife as well. So which means that once they come in and you take over, what does an itinerary would look like actually?
Well, I can answer this question two ways. You know, I could talk about the fact that, you know, at this stage of my career, you know, I've gotten enough experience. It's been 12 years, close to 12 years, since I've been working as a guide. Worked at Rockview for 3.5 years, at the lodge for 2 years, and also where I started at Baganara. These days, I run a small company that specializes in birding, wildlife, and photography. So, working in the interior at Atta and around those areas has allowed me to learn all the different hotspots. So, when tourists come, you know, I know all of the places, and also understanding what they want to see. When somebody contacts me, I would then ask them what they want to see. What are you interested in? So that's where you have to start a conversation. When you're communicating with clients or potential clients, there are some questions that you have to ask them. Obviously, you know, they want to come to Guyana. You have to tell them what is their, what are the best times to come to the country. What are the target species, and you find most times tourists, because Guyana is now one of the most popular birding destinations.
Looked at some of your pictures on Facebook, on the sites. How did you really get into photography, if I can?
Well, during the tour guide training at the beginning, I remember Wally Prince did a small course on the tour guide training about photography, and it was one of the recommended equipment that a guide must have when he is doing guiding. So I had a small point and shoot camera, and that's where my interest started. You know, just going out and taking pictures of the landscape, the birds, and over time, you know, understanding the different features and the settings. Because photography is not just, you know, take your camera and you point at an object and you take a picture. You have to be able to master the light, understand, you know, the different backgrounds, depth of field, and just basically how to use your camera. And with that first camera, I learned all the different settings, and you know, became comfortable with that craft. And now these days I have a better camera, and that has allowed me to get better photos. I've learned from many local and international photographers, so that's something that is added to what I do as a tour guide.
I know you've traveled around, you've been to the United States of America and a few other countries abroad. Now you're in the United Kingdom. How have you found your trip here, though it's short? Have you been able to, would you say you've achieved anything from it, from this coming to the UK here at the Bird Fair, or would you think you would have liked to have more time to enhance that area?
Well, first of all, I think, you know, it's a great opportunity to come to the Bird Fair. It's something that have been, you know, one of my interests in terms of coming here and be able to experience what it's like. It's something that I've never experienced at this magnitude before in terms of the amount of people in this industry. Obviously, bird watching is one of the largest industry when you think about fauna, and it's just a great experience to come here and tell people about what Guyana have to offer. You know, meet friends, meet clients that you had in the past, and just, you know, be able to talk to them and find out where are they next, where are they going in terms of the next destination and things like that. In terms of the amount of time, obviously it's short. The bird fair is 3 days. I came up on Thursday, and then, you know, obviously starting on Friday. Today is Sunday. I leave back to Gatwick, and then tomorrow, and then the next day I go back to Guyana. For me, as a naturalist guide, as a birder, which is something that I'm passionate about, it could be frustrating at times because, you know, when I get a chance to go outside, there are birds out there that, you know, you see, but it becomes frustrating when you don't know what they are. And it's something that can happen to anybody who is in this field. You know, every time you go to a new country, they will have birds there that you will not know, and you become, you know, kind of frustrated not knowing what they are. So I would have liked to probably spend 2 or 3 days, either 2 days, come 2 days before the bird fair, or come on the same Thursday, be part of the bird fair, and then probably get an extra 2 days to, you know, do some birding, and also, you know, go and meet other people and meet other tour guides like myself.
Really, before we go, looking at the Guyana booth, which you've had a chance to be at, what are some of the recommendations would you advise to the Guyana Tourism Authority and its participants that can do to enhance the look of the booth, to attract, again, much more people, their interest in Guyana? What are some of the recommendations? Well, you can, if you can.
Well, first of all, we need more materials in terms of brochures that is promoting Guyana. There wasn't much here for this year's in terms of the banner. I've seen these banners many times before, and I think it's time to make some changes. What I notice on the banners, they are birds from Guyana, but some of them are targets, but the majority are not. Which, the more target birds you have on the banners, when people pass, it could help to create more interest. So take for example, a cattle egret on a banner. That will not create any kind of interest because cattle egret is too common. A silver-beak tanager is another one that I see on one of the banners here, which is extremely common in Guyana, and that type of stuff will not create enough interest. When you're making a banner, you have to be more diverse. You cannot have two of the same pictures, or you should not have two of the same pictures on the same banner. You try to have different birds showcasing Guyana. I mean, we have over 870 something different species of birds. For us having so many birds, it's fair to say that there should be on every banner a different species that will create interest in terms of bird watching. Also, I think with this size of booth that we have, it's not the largest in terms of what I've seen for the other marquees and the other booths nearby. But it could have been decorated better in terms of filling up the entire space with with a nice backdrop, as opposed to having separate pull-ups, and you can see the woodwork at the back and those kind of stuff. When you're preparing for the bird fair, this is something that is big. It's huge for Guyana, and you have to invest more in getting as much material as possible. Me being here for the first time, I understand that they have put some new rules in place in terms of how we can promote Guyana. But at the same time, we cannot allow that to really prevent us from enhancing the way we promote Guyana. So those are some of the recommendations.
How do you, would you see or would you recommend anyone to be a bird watcher? What advice would anyone interested in doing bird watching would you have?
Well, first of all, you have to. This is something that you can't just say, okay, you wake up today and say, I want to become a bird watcher. You have to have a special connection to nature. And once you can build that connection, and then you yourself, will go out and start doing your own research. In Guyana, from time to time, the Ghana Tourism Authority will have tour guide training and those kind of stuff. So you have to push yourself and try to be part of things like that to really get to learn and understand what bird watching is all about. Yes, it's an outdoor activity, and so you have to be able to love nature. You have to be somebody who can lead tourists. It's not just learning the birds and the wildlife and those kind of stuff in the natural environment. You have to be able to have that leadership quality. Well, I have my website. It's journeyghana.com. My Facebook page is Leon Moore Nature Experience. I also have a photography page. It's called Leon Moore Photography. My email address is leonmoore@yahoo.com. So those are some of the ways in which people can contact me. And once you contact me, then we can see what you would like to do in terms of birding, wildlife, and photography.
Leon, it's a pleasure talking with you, and it's good having you at the Bird Fair in the United Kingdom in Rutland.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for watching, thank you for looking, and at the same time, feel free to like, subscribe, and let's catch up at another time. In the meantime, let's keep rocking. Carl Brown here saying, it's all been good.